Okay, in this video, I'm going to show you what you need to measure to determine the height of an object, like a tree or a building. In this case, the height of idea. And what we're going to do is we're going to take one of our pointing devices and a protractor and a tape measure, and we're going to use those three to determine its height, to take those measurements. So the first thing I need to do is I need to take a tape measure, as you can see over here, and stretch it from our building or tree and then a certain distance away. Now, the process that we're using right now only works if the ground is level or near level for approximation purposes. And what we're going to do is we're going to pick a certain spot on this tape measure, and then we're going to stick our pointing device, whatever it may be, a pencil, a ruler, a furring strip like this, and we're going to point it straight up at the top. Now, in order to aim it best, just like we did when we were doing distance, you're going to get your eye right down on it and look straight up it, just so you can see exactly where it's pointing. Or if you do have a laser pointer, you can use that as well. So here we go. I'm going to pick a spot that's 22 feet. Stick it right there, and I'm going to point it up to the top of idea. And since I have a laser pointer for this, I'm going to use it. Now, if you have a partner, this is where you use a partner to hold the stick and firmly in place while you try to measure. I don't, so mine's not going to be as accurate. And you can measure two places. You can stick a protractor on the ground and measure the angle it makes with the ground and your pointing device. It should be less than 90 degrees. Or you can take a string and put some sort of weight on the end, and then make sure that it's pointed straight down, that it's not going back and forth, and measure the angle that your pointing device makes with the string. And since I'm doing this by myself, this is much easier this way, so I can stay standing. So I got 28 degrees on my measurement. Had I done it from the ground, I would have gotten a measurement of about 62 degrees. And now that I know that my marking was 22 feet, that's where I measured it from, and my angle was 28 degrees there, or if I was measuring from the ground, 62. Now I have enough information to determine how tall that is. Now that works, the ground is flat, and the object goes straight up. In other words, there's a 90-degree angle made. That process does not work if there is not a 90-degree angle made. So your object is like a mountain, or some object that tilts, or the ground is like on a hill. And so how can you do that in some other scenario? And so it gets quite a bit more complex. And so I'm just going to show you one other one. And that's just, what if I can't actually measure all the way to the object? Say there's something in the way. Yeah, the ground is flat and the object goes straight up, but there's something in the way, I can't get all the way to it. So what you would do there is you would do this process twice. So I would start at 22 feet and then maybe move 10 feet in and do it again and record both measurements, knowing that those two measurements were 10 feet apart. And that way, even if I don't go all the way to my object, I have enough measurements because I know how far away my two things were, and then I measured two angles, one from the farther place and one from the closer place. You could actually use that method to measure even the height of Mount Rainier, if your devices were accurate enough and your process was. Okay, to sum up on height, what you need is a distance, either a distance away from that object or the distance between two different measurements. And then what you're measuring is you're sticking your object at a distance, like 22 feet, 10 feet, whatever, and you're pointing it directly, aiming directly to the top of that object, and measuring either the angle that it makes with the ground, if the ground is flat, or you use a weighted string and you measure the angle that it makes with that string.